Hi, welcome to the Nay Yay Show. I'm your L7 movie guy, Pierre Marks. This is the recommendation show for all your streaming services and reviews. Let's get started. First up we have is a drama/crime movie starring Tom Holland called Cherry. Now this is about a young man that drifts from college dropout to army medic, and who is anchored down only by his true love, Emily, but returns from the war with PTSD. Then life starts to spiral out of control for the both, with drugs and crime, which from that he starts to struggle to find his place and purpose in the world.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Now for the production for this film, it was actually off the charts excellent. Anywhere from the narration to the editing to the camera work was something out of an art house storybook that came to life. It had you feeling at times that you were like stuck in a dream that was like almost very romantic and really sweet. And then all of a sudden it just takes this turn into a gut punching of sadness. Even though I knew how things were going to play out in the film, I still couldn't stop watching it and I couldn't look away. It was just too good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What I thought was even a bigger standout than the production was actually definitely the acting in this one, especially from our Lovebird characters. They just carried the majority runtime of the actual story, and Tom Holland was definitely outstanding and definitely had an Oscar performance. He was just so amazing to watch and see him transform into the journey of this character.
Hi, doggy. You want to play with us?
Scotty, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to. He doesn't know Transformers.
In the end, this was a light cross between 500 Days of Summer and Requiem for a Dream. Now, a light version of Requiem for a Dream, if you have not seen that movie. And yes, the runtime is kind of long for what it is, but I think with the performances and the great production overall from the film, I'm going to have to give this one a yay. Definitely a yay. But for our audience thumb scale, it's going to be a 4 out of 5. Second up we have is the third installment that is a horror film called 28 Years Later. This film is set 3 decades later after the rage virus breaks out in the UK and follows a young survivor's journey from the island that he lives in to the mainland in order to find a doctor for his ill mother, but soon discovers the bloodthirsty infected and the sinister groups that inhabit the area.
And they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Now the beginning of the movie was actually really strong, but not as strong as the previous 2 films. But it was definitely gruesome and definitely bloody and definitely a lot of death in the beginning to get you locked in right away. Then the story and the production take this long, depressing look on the survivors of this island, which was very interesting in a watch because you wanted to see how they were rebuilding their society and also all the different types of rules that they put in place so in order for them not to die or get infected.
Rules are rules.
The cinematography in this film, I have to say, was very consistent with the other 2 previous films. They always have this really grim look to them and really grainy look to them, like it was like captured on like on an old school VHS camera. It has that very unique style to it, and it always stays consistent from the first movie to this movie now. Of course, though, it's all about the blood, the prosthetics, and the scary moments with the infected, which I'm very sad to say was very much lacking in that department with the infected. There was just not many infected in this film. There wasn't really that many moments where they were all chasing a bunch of people or had any really crazy, like, horrifying, like, blood dripping out or anything like that. There was some cool moments here and there, but they really focused on, like, one of the main infected, just his dick just swinging all over the place, just flip-flopping all over the place. He was hanging.
Plus, I hear the guy hangs dong, and I'm very interested in seeing that.
Me too.
Yeah, he hangs dong.
With that being said, I think the beginning was very strong. It definitely has the same look as the other ones, but with the characters and where the story was going, it just really was slow and boring and not many exciting moments that I really wanted it to have. So with that being said, I'm going to have to give this one a nay. Definitely a nay. And for a thumbs audience scale, I'm going to have to give it a 2 out of 5. Last up we have is an action comedy called Fight or Flight. This is about a mercenary that takes one more last job to get his life back to find a high-value target named the Ghost, which takes place on an international flight on a plane. Then to realize that on this plane, there are deadly assassins out to kill them both. Now they must work together to fight for their lives and make it to their destination.
George, give him to me. No, I'm not giving it to you. I don't want to get physical. You want to fight? I'll fight you.
Now the comedy aspect of this film was kind of funny, but it had more of a darker sense of humor, and that's because the humor only works with the bloody moments in this film. It came across like funny moments, like if it was like a slasher horror movie, but just with action instead. Speaking on the action though, this was very, very well done and well choreographed, well planned out. It just worked so well in so many different levels. And that's because of the long takes and long tracking shots of this. When they were doing the fight scenes, they just didn't cut away very much, which gave you the sense that you were just locked and loaded the whole time. The writing and dialogue in this film just felt really forced and uncomfortably dumb. But I think that might have been its charm though for this film. Also, the characters were just too unbelievable and just didn't fit who they were portraying. I just felt like whenever they were doing something or whatever they did in the past as their character, just felt like you couldn't do that.
I can do that, but I don't wanna.
Overall, the action and the blood and the fight scenes were probably the best thing about this film. I think this is not something we haven't seen before in movies. This was just a basic rip-off of that movie with Brad Pitt called Bullet Train. So if you want to see a better version of this one, go watch Bullet Train. And I'll have to give this one a nay. Definitely a nay. But for a audience thumb scale, I'm going to have to give it a 3 out of 5. Well, that's all the time we have. Please, as always, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you like any of the movies we discussed, please leave a comment down below. Have a good weekend, and may the movies be with you. Lates.